Hello friends, it's John Klein III with episode 26 of Shadow and Flame with Magic the Podcast, and today we are going to review Uncanny X-Men issue 600. And once again, thank you to Francisco for providing the theme song to the podcast. And for Uncanny X-Men 600, since it's the giant anniversary milestone, there was mini covers. I own the Chris Boccello cover as well as the Chris Anka cover, mostly because I have a thing for Chris's, apparently. I remember trying to get the Paul Smith cover and not being able to get a copy at Hastings. And Kitty's not on it, but it's the Morlocks and Paul Smith, so I really wanted it. And then Art Adams did a cover, and Kitty's on that one. So I wish I could have gotten that one too. But 2 out of, I think it was like 6 of them. But those were the 2 that I had my eye on. So this is Uncanny X-Men 600. Let's see if I get to the title sequence here. It came out in January 2016. Inside cover ad is for Lego Avengers, the second Marvel Lego game, which is very influenced by the movies up to that point. And Walker and I really enjoyed it. Let's see here. Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. Oh, I should apologize. I'm a little sick, which I was going to record this tomorrow night, but I was like, well, I have a thing going where I record every Monday night. And also I apparently fell asleep from like 6 to 8. So now it's almost 11 and I am wide awake. So the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. And Beast is contemplating at his computers. And he's being frustrated at his science experiment. It's a lot of errors and system rebooting. And Storm requests he come to the cafeteria. And he's like, in a bit, Storm. Actually, I kind of need you now. And then he walks into the cafeteria, which is nicely labeled on the inside in case you were in the room and wondered what room you were in. And then Beast walks in and says, what is this? And he sees the entire X-Men, both what remains of Scott Summers' X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, as well as the all-new X-Men cast. Beast's like, it's not my birthday. And then Kitty, in her Starjammers, in her Guardians of the Galaxy uniform, which is all gray. Well, it's like a black bodysuit with gray boots and gloves and arms and chests and hip stripes. And she's like, we're here because we care about you, Henry. And Storm's like, have a seat. And a lot of people have their arms crossed. Dupe's in the big room too, as well as all the students. And because it's a comic that came out in 2016, we get a great credit page as well as a previously on X-Men page. Born with genetic mutations that give them abilities beyond those of normal humans, mutants are the next stage in evolution. As such, they are feared and hated by humanity, but a group of mutants known as the X-Men fight for peaceful coexistence between mutants and humankind. But not all the mutants see peaceful coexistence as a reality. The Uncanny X-Men are Cyclops, Emma Frost, Dazzler, Magic, Magneto, Tempest, Triage, Goldballs, Hijack, Benjamin Deeds, Angel, and the Stepford Cuckoos. I'm hearing my own voice, and for once, this is, I appreciate my sick voice. It reminds me of a joke Conan Brian makes about how his voice goes a little high, as mine does. Maybe one of the things I love about him and Jim Gaffigan. But he's like, oh, when I have when I have a cold, I don't like to cancel shows because I get to use a sexy radio voice. So I've always appreciated, oh yeah. So this might be the one bearable episode to listen to. So previously in Uncanny X-Men. Cyclops is the public face for what he calls the New Mutant Revolution. He has gathered the newest mutants and has vowed to train them. Beast was so upset about what was going on with his people and sure that he was going to die that he went back in time and brought the original X-Men to the present in an attempt to sober Scott Summers and put things right before he died. The original X-Men have found themselves stuck in the present, but were happy to be here because it gave them a second chance at a legacy they could be proud of. Charles Xavier's untimely death at the hands of a cosmically corrupted Scott Summers has brought on the need to read his last will and testament. The events of the will led Cyclops to give up his school, his relationships, his partners, and his students. Meanwhile, Scott's brother, Alex Summers, a.k.a. Havoc, once the public... This is Havoc with a C, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a K always. Once the public face of the mutant cause has left the Avengers in defeat and reunited his brother, but for what? The original X-Men, Iceman, too many mans in that sentence, has come to terms with the fact that he is gay and wonders why his modern-day counterpart never did. Writer Brian Michael Bendis, which again, I'm a fan of Bendis, especially his Spider-Man work and his X-Men work, and Alias, and Avengers. I guess the only thing I really didn't read was Daredevil, but I feel like I read the first hardcover of it. I'm trying to think of his other legendary runs. Art, Sarah Pacelli, Mohammed Assar, Stuart Imberman, Chris Anka, Chris Bocello, David Marquez, and Fraser Irving. I think it's in that order. Inks, Wade Von Quabadger, probably the coolest name in comics. Tim Townsend, Mark Irwin. Color art by Martel Garcia, who does an amazing job. Jason Keefe, Chris Bocello doing his own pages, and Fraser Irving doing his own pages. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. In lettering and production, VC's Joe Caramanga. Assistant editors Christina Harrington and Alexander Jaroway. Editors Mike Martz and Mark Paczecki. Oh, that reminds me, because I took a nap, I completely forgot to show my wife and son, Walker D, that SNL skit with School versus School, where Jenna Ortega is Rogue for all points and purposes, and Xavier's there and some strong guy character, but I'm like, oh, hey. I think it's like Xander instead of Xavier, but I'm like, it's a pretty funny skit. And then there's a reprint of Bizarre Adventures 27 Winter Carnival in the back, which I guess I had to Google, and Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool News proposes that the reason it's in there is because it's a hint of Bobby being attracted to men or appreciating the beauty of man. So that's why that's in there. Or at least that's the only reason I could find of anyone even commenting on it, because of all the comics, why throw that in there? And Bobby says, just FYI, this wasn't my idea, Henry. And Kitty, oh my God, Bobby, we told you could leave. Please don't undermine this. Kitty Pryde, ladies and gentlemen, she came all the way across the galaxy. Let me have it one more time. I came all the way across the galaxy to help my friend. And Beast's like, is this an intervention? And Storm's, yes. Well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I haven't been on a proper date since I'd rather not say. And Colossus, and Kurt are in the room. Dazzler, this is Punk Dazzler. And they're all just talking about how, we've tried to talk to you, but you keep ignoring us. And Storms, and because of our rather hectic lives and lifestyles, and because the older Scott Summers always sucks all the air out of any room we all find ourselves in together, we have been able to focus on the fact that you've been taking great liberties, and in our name. And Beast's like, with what? And Emma's in her Chris Bocello outfit, which, I don't know. There's got to be some brave women who cosplay in it, but it is gravity defying. The laws of physics, and then young Scott's the laws of space-time continuum, and young Hank is the Laws of genetics. Really? You too, my younger self? And he gets all nervous. Oh, this isn't intervention at all. And Kitty's, you don't have to label it. We just want to, this is a trial. And everyone just gets awkwardly quiet. 20 minutes ago, and apparently 20 minutes ago, Pride was in her classic yellow and black outfit. So I guess when they get into the trial, she changes to her Guardian's outfit. It's probably the only slight I have against this comic is you couldn't get Kitty in the same outfit twice. Like, come on. And we see a Fakum as Colossus destroys a tree. Well, you show that tree a thing or two about a thing or two. Gotcha. Hey, Peter. I thought you no longer live on this planet. It's really me, Peter. We live in a world of shapeshifters and physics. Do you want me to tell you what you call that thing on your butt? No, but it's good to see you. You look good. When I'm covered in metal, I look exactly the same. And it's just a good point to bring, like, how much I dislike Bendis' dialogue. I know people give him a hard time about it, but I'm a fan. I guess I also read his powers and torso. That was a good one, too. Yeah, well, always a good look. I heard you are to be married. You did? Well, maybe undecided. You came to talk about it? Absolutely not. Not for both our sanities. I came here because someone else wants to talk to you. And she sent you? No one sends me anywhere. No, I offered. She can call me herself. You don't have a phone, so you're here to warm me up, to buffer. So she's here? Ileana, come out. And I wish Loki was in these pages, but she isn't. Or he isn't. And then Magic teleports in, and she's just sheepless, like, you look exactly the same, brother. That's what I was said. You look quite different. I am different. I have been teaching, and I have been training with Dr. Strange. Really? I should have trained as a sorcerer when I was a child. I had to learn so much. I had begun to learn how to control the energies that flow through me and around me. There's a lot of meditation, a lot of self-evaluation, a lot of visual projection, which means that I tried to imagine the world I want to live in and then try to make it happen. The biggest regret I carry with me is you. Much was said between us, and I can't help but feel that if years ago I had taken myself and my studies more seriously, I would have not been so. And she's talking about how she tricked him into becoming Juggerlocious, which was a fun moment after the Phoenix 5 moment. Stop. And there's a great panel of the sun behind him, like glaring so you can't see his facial expression. Awesome page reveal. And he demetals, or untransforms. I love you. Don't even during all this, even when I'm angry, I still love you. We are the only family we have. And Katie's putting her hands up on her mouth because she's super happy. She has black lipstick on for some reason. And then the Rasputins are smiling at each other. Yay. Oh, Aurora's calling everyone in. Wonder what that's about. Kitty is getting married. I know. Make your move and stop it. Shh. I want her to be happy. But Ileana wants him to stop it for another reason. And Beast is like, I like to know what things are. And by any definition, this is a trial. I have talked to you about these things and you have ignored me, Storm says. Slowly but surely I came to realize that many people in this room have tried to talk to you about the exact same things. And they all felt that you ignored them. This is not a reason to do what you're doing right now. What else could we do? The other thing to do is call a shield and have them put you in a box for crimes against nature and science. That's the other thing, because you have completely turned the school and yourself inside out and upside down without talking to any of us about it. That's not how we do things here. And why are the students here? Why are Scott Summer students here? And Emma chimes in. Your actions affects all of us. And no matter how this turns out, this is something very important that needs to be taught. And for the life of me, I don't think there's ever been a better way to teach it. And that is embarrassing to you? Good. It should. That means that part of you is still spinning the right way. And Storm interjects, because I guess they talked about how they were going to stage all this. At first I thought, Goddess, someone should have talked to you about power and responsibility, which is just a fun Spider-Man Like, I don't know, can we ever see the words power and responsibility without thinking about old Spider-Man? The webhead himself? Back when you were a student here, but I recently talked to you when you were a student here because you were kind enough to break the time-space continuum to bring yourself here. And guess what? Which I guess is one of the things Bendis, like, you know, like all Bendis characters talk and Bendis speak. And I'm not sure if Storm would have a sides, but I like a Storm who's casual. I mean, she's surrounded by friends and family. You did know the difference between right or wrong. He knows. Why don't you? Most of the things I'm working on, it would take me weeks, if not months, to properly explain them to you. You wouldn't even understand the parameters of the subject matter that I'm attempting to. Which is like, shut up, Stone Beast. Like, Kitty will understand. Like, all the adults will understand. Emma will understand. Like, you're not doing anything that high and mighty. And then, Iceman says, when you say things like that, and then young Bobby says, you're not doing yourself any favors. Oh, good Lord, this is a nightmare. Stop it. You stop it. We talked about this. Because they're talking at the exact same time, which is fun. 30 minutes go, and we see Iceman just like taking out all of Scott's X-Men students. Not even sweating a sweat, breaking a sweat. Which I don't know if you even notice if they just be like little icicles. And he's just walking away. Like, go lick your wounds and we'll figure out how to completely retrain you if any of you still plan on sticking around. So then he's just de-iced. He's just walking around. He's like gold balls, laughing to himself. Oh, hi, much older Ice Me. What are you doing here? I need to talk to you. Oh, I don't like this. And what is the young Miss Jean Grey doing here? Support? Don't mind me. Support to talk to me. We're the same person from different time periods. I'm not going to murder you or anything. That would be bad for me. Even though the desire to do it is sometimes overwhelming. I'm gay, it turns out. So that means you are too, right? Oh my God, I'm going to kill Henry McCoy for bringing you here. So, I don't think I want to live my whole life hiding this part of myself. I understand maybe you did, though I'm not sure I understand why you still do. Why is everyone like... This is why no one likes you, Jean Grey. Which is like, dang. Because at this point, I was not a fan of Jean Grey, like ripping into people's minds and making them reveal truths about themselves. Like, come on, Jean, just be cool. No, everyone likes her too. Too much. True. We don't like her because we're hiding something, even from ourselves. True. But hey, you don't have to do anything. I just wanted to talk to you about it. You can keep doing whatever you want, but I'm stuck here, and I think I'm going to try to live this my way. So, like, Bob Iceman says, like, I don't know, we just see a picture of his feet, and then, like, a tink sound effect as, I don't know, an ice cube falls out of his eyes, because I guess that's what happens when he cries. You're going to be a mutant and gay? Wow. How are you more put together than me? So you are gay. I put all my energy into being a mutant and an X-Man and putting my life in danger every 10 minutes for everyone else. And that's not a brag. I made that choice. You ask yourself, can I just have one part of my life that I'm not being prosecuted for? Just today, and maybe tomorrow, and then the next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. And the years go by, and it gets easier to put that part of yourself away. And then so much time goes by, you say to yourself late at night, one day, maybe. Then you do things to see if maybe you're straight or, it's not too late. Some people don't come out until they're like 80. And he's been making a snowball and it like melts in his hands. What are you thinking? He's wondering if it's selfish to put like just 10% of the person that he is into the X-Men and to make himself happy for once in his life. Which is like awkward. Like, just let Bobby, like, let Iceman say that. Like, Jean doesn't have to answer every question when someone's like, what are you thinking about? And Iceman's just silent. There's a big argument that says you might be a better X-Man and a better teacher if you're ready to be the whole you. Oh my God, I'm shaking. I don't shake. I'm made of ice. Can I ask you a question? And I want you to be really honest with me. And the Iceman just stands there, waiting. Do you think Angel's hot? Oh God, yes. See? How could you keep that in all these years? Because he's so hot, it's just annoying. Jean, come here. You're going to hug me? I am. No. No? No hugs from any more Icemen. You're freezing and it's tough on the front parts. How about a mental hug? What's a mental... Oh, that's nice. I want a mental hug. It's Storm. Everyone... She wants everyone in the cafeteria. Everyone? Does that include us? Yes, it does. And then Storm's back. Because, Henry, somewhere along the way, you convince yourself that your brilliance allows you to be the right to do whatever you want, wherever you want to do. I remember you once marrying a... We're not talking about me, Henry. Take a step back and look at what you've done just this year and look at what we know the future you is capable of. Now I'm being blamed for my future actions? And then Dazzler, whispers to Colossus, which I guess is fun. Dark Beast, as we so affectionately refer to him, did just try to kill us 3 weeks ago. He did? It was not cool. Each of us here is doing what we think is best for our people. Each one of us. And Kitty says, but you just did it, Henry. You don't consult any of us. You bring the original X-Men here, and now they're stuck here. That alone. The new Xavier School, secret location. 40 minutes ago. And the all-new cast are just sitting about with Angel with his burning fire wings flying in. I do like how they gave them all colors. They're all like Power Rangers, but each with their own colors. So Jean's green, Scott's a dark blue, Bobby's usually a light blue, Hank is a orange, and I want to say Laura is also an orange. It's the exact same color. So I wish those two colors were different. Then Angel wears yellow, is it? I think so. And Bobby's saying, let's try this one more time. And Hank's like, one more. Relaxing, commence. Enjoying the earth, Bobby. Totally relaxing. And Jean cuts in. I think I need to take a break. A break from what? We just laid down. Us, the group. And Scott says, us? You want to leave the X-Men? I want to, everyone relax. I just want to see what it's like to just be me. Is this because I'm here? No, Scott, I promise you. And I just imagine she rolled her eyes just like how I just did. It's not. It's because, this is so hard to say. A lot of things are happening to us. To me, we're here. We can't get back. Where's this coming from? Laura pipes in. The Utopians really got to you. They really did. And I've been trading with Emma Frost. I think I need to do more of that and less of us jumping into things. Just for now. Scott, you got to go off of your dad, you know. And Hank says, so you're leaving? You've decided? 2-page ad here for Jessica Jones. By Michael Bendis and Michael Gaydos. And it's coming to Netflix, all episodes, November 20th. Which I saw season 1, and I don't think we saw season 2, and someone told me there was a season 3. Why did we stop watching that show? But it took me forever to watch Daredevil season 3 and Heroes for Hire, so... No, not Heroes for Hire. What do they call it? Defenders. But I finally did, and it wasn't too bad. Defenders could have been better. And Angel lands, why don't we all take a break? And Bobby's like, just for all of us going our separate ways? Where's this coming from? I've been thinking about it just for now. See what life is like not living in an underground bunker. And Bobby's like, well, that's easy for you. You're rich. What does that have to do with anything? Okay, can I have some money? Sure. I was joking, but okay. Then Hank walks off. I broke up the X-Men. And Angel's like, Warren's like, how did he break us up? And Scott says, he means to order him. The order him brought us here, and now we're falling apart. I'll talk to him. So Hank's just bouncing around the trees, the woods. And all of a sudden he doesn't land, and he goes, as he's being levitated up. Which I don't know why Jean just didn't come to him, but I guess it's a real power move on Jean's part. It's rude to walk away from a lady when she's talking. Put me down. No, you don't understand what this is like. What's it like? Ever since we came here to this place, it's been one humiliating pie in the face after the other. Which pie reminds me of today's March 13th. Tomorrow's March 14, which is 3.14 Pi Day. Everyone blames me for what my older self did to us, and you just keep diverting from our path. Now you want to leave. I'd never get back together. The possibility of this as the end of Henry. We have vocally changed the course of our own destiny, none of it for Henry. Of course you would leave the X-Men. Of course you, Henry, I'm quite fond of you. Wait, what? What? B says in a fun real page turn. Bendis does know how, like, comics work. He's like, I know which, like, to make you want to turn the page fast. I know you've been waiting for me. I know. And just because I don't want to be an X-Men right now doesn't mean I don't want to be with you right now. Defined with me. I'm sorry it took so long to respond to you. My headspace as well. It's not like everyone else's. I hear thoughts I shouldn't. I feel feelings I shouldn't. It makes things more complicated. I just assume you have no interest in. I know. But that's your thing. This is how I actually feel. And they just start making out. So, besides Bobby, every male member of the original five wanted to date Jean. But Beast just stood around being like, I have big hands and big feet and a big brain. I can't date Jean. Brr, brr, brr. But here they are, making out. Then we see Scott watching them. And you can just tell he wants to optic blast them, but he shan't. And then we're back to the not trial. Just because I have the capacity to understand things on a level that most others don't mean I'm the bad guy. I've been everyone in this room, every one of you, do what you have to do when you had to do it. I don't think you... Oh, and Storm says, there's a glare on the page, so I couldn't see it. I love you, Henry, but I don't think you do, Whirl. I used to think you did, but this is not an act of love. And Kitty says, yes, it is. And Magic backs her up. Yes, it is, Henry. How on earth are you standing there and allowing this to happen to me? He says to his younger self, and Hank says, You brought us here on a lie, and now we can't go home. Admit it, that. And I think you and everyone will find I brought you here to stop Scott Summers from creating mutant genocide. It worked. The mutant genocide did not happen. Scott Summers, the man who killed our mentor, the man who has caused a schism between us that we cannot heal. Him and you let walk free, and I have to endure this. Which is funny, because he used the word schism because that is the event that led to the Uncanny X-Men and the all-new X-Men team, and led by Wolverine, the Jean Grey school, and the new Xavier schools. But clearly, everyone has come together, so the schism is clearly healing. And Beast is like, what am I doing? And Dazzler's like, you're talking about Scott Summers. We're here to talk about you. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. You can all go to hell. What I've done for you. And Storm's like, no one wants you to leave. And Kitty's like, we want to help you, but you have to. Emma, I can make him stay. Ileana, do not. This is hardly the point. Henry, no. Also, we hear glee, glee. And Kitty's like, I'll go. Storm's like, no. But does anyone else hear that? Dazzler says, glee, 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 glee. And Benjamin Deed's phone's beeping. No, not a phone. A mini Cerebro. And Ileana recognizes it, calls it a Cerebro. It finds mutants. And everyone's saying it's in Washington, D.C. They know Scott's up to something, so Ileana's going to teleport everyone in the school to where Scott is. Just trying to make sure. Yeah, Ileana's like, did you know about this? And Emma's like, no, I could take us there. Would you? So yeah, with a twist of her wrist and the Soul Sword, everyone is now in Washington, D.C., and Ileana has decided to put Kitty back in her black and yellow outfit that's slightly different from the one from Chris Anka. Like, can we not have agreed that Kitty would have worn just one outfit during all of this? Like, come on, everyone. It's the one mistake of the comic. And Storm's goddess, which I think is her third goddess of the issue. And now Cyclops is talking. And now the X-Men have arrived, our greatest educators and champions. Humans... Oh, and Dupe's waving At me, maybe? Humans and mutants all over the world. I have gathered all of us here, every single mutant on the planet Earth, all of us, so we can join together in revolution. My name is Scott Summers, and not long ago in the press, in a fit of frustration, I called for a mutant revolution. Revolution! I know that's a loaded word, and that it means many things to many people. Some see it as heroic, and some see it as terrifying. Some equate it to terrorism, and I have admitted to myself that I did not know exactly what I meant when I called for it, only that something revolutionary had to happen. Well, this is it. This is the mutant revolution. We are all here, all of us, every single one of us. And we see Sabretooth, even the non-Uncanny and all-new teams are here. Lady Mastermind, who's wearing Emma's outfit, or maybe Emma's wearing her outfit. It's awkward. Every mutant in the world on the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., in the heart of everything dramatic and good. Oh, is this Rogue's Mike Carey run team? I feel like that's two different eras of X-Men, right? Anyways, Sabretooth's there, and he's looking at Rogue, so maybe they're just referencing the Mike Carey run. And you hear that? Oh, and these pages are by Chris Boccello, which is fun. And you hear that? Do you see that? Nothing's happening. The humans' worst nightmare about mutants is that we would unite and attack, unite and conquer, unite and come after them. Well, here we are, united, and isn't it beautiful? And he's at the podium. Behind him is Havoc and Karma because of the metal leg. I don't recognize who the other gal is and who the person in the cloak is. Summers, what are you doing? And we see Magneto floating down. Magneto, Eric, we're demonstrating once and for all what we are, and I really didn't want to do this without you. Will you join us in showing the world that they have nothing to fear from us? And Psylocke, Betsy, in Psylocke's body. He's getting away with this. And Storm says, this doesn't change anything. And Kurt says, actually, it kind of does. You've finally lost your mind, Scott Summers. But Charles Xavier would have loved this. And he puts his hand on Scott's shoulder, and Scott looks up to the skies, all happy. And then we see Beast in more of a monkey goblin form. And it worked, you manipulative bastard. And Eva Bell comes in. What's next, Doctor? Which one are you? Why aren't you with the others? My name is Eva Bell. Oh yes, time bubbles. I'm a time traveler as well. Seen anything interesting? Almost exclusively. In fact, in my travels 3 separate times, I was told there would be a trial of Henry McCoy. It'd be very important. That it was important that you experienced it. And these are the painted pages by, Irving. Excuse me, I've had enough for one day. Do you think that happened today was it, or do you think there's something else coming? Well, I wouldn't know. You time traveled, you tell me. Because if this was it, what do you do with what happened today? And if this wasn't it, what? And she's gone. I guess he's seeing a picture of the globe or something, an image of the globe, and he gets in his Jeep and just drives away, concerned. And I don't know, the idea of just Beast driving a Jeep just seems weird to me. And here we go. Good X-Men goodbyes for now. And Bendis writes a very nice letter. I won't read the whole thing, but... And finally it is over. At least for me, for the X-Men, it's never over. But for me, personally, what a mountain to climb, even after all I have been lucky enough to accomplish in comics, even after a 16-year run and counting on Spider-Man, even after the longest run on Avengers ever, oh, the bragging, the X-Men were a daunting task. And then he talks about, at the statement of the X-Men means everything to me. I am Jewish. I am the father of a multi-racial household. I have felt the pain and struggle of being judged and shunned for being different. The story Kitty Pryde tells about being Jewish in All New X-Men was a true story about myself. A true confession as I've never done told in a comic, and have done autobiographical comics. The X-Men mean the world to me. which I should do that because I can't remember quite the story of what Kitty tells. I want to say she was like just an innocent little kid, just like minding her own business, and like a adult comes up and just goes like, "You're Jewish," and it's like, what are you doing? Like, there's no reason to other someone like that. I mean, there's never a reason to other someone like that, but it's just unfortunate. And then he references some of his favorite X-Men. Oh, yeah. So then he made a point about if I'm on the X-Men have to have the world's best artists. The X-Men grew up on were by John Byrne, Dave Cockrum, Paul Smith, Bill Sienkiewicz, Walt Simonson, and so many more. It had to be the modern version of that. The X-Men we gave you were by Stuart Immelman, Wade Vaughn, Grawbadger, Chris Pacello, Dave Marquez, Fraser Irving, Chris Anka, Andrea Sorrentino, and so many more. As far as I'm concerned, mission accomplished. He talks about Marte Garcia's rise. Sort of like he was the next Laura Martin who did the Astonishing X-Men run of the colorist on that title, where it's like, yeah, like you get a great colorist, like anything's possible. He talks about the highlights he did. As I said when I first joined the book, I knew I was coming in with some ex-notoriety. Even before I joined, I had already coined the words "no more mutants." I had already killed Xavier. I had already given Wolverine his memories back, and I broke up Scott and Emma. No! So many of you were worried about me, and I totally got that, and you gave me a shot anyhow and stayed with us to the big, albeit delayed end. Which I gotta say, Rich Johnston also referenced it about how there was long delays for issue 600, so... Which I don't remember that, but... I don't know, like, they talk, like, on Ogalio, WoW, the Excalibur podcast about how there's so many fill-in comics in that run, and it's like, yeah, if it was a modern-day comic, they would just let a couple of weeks go by before the artists can tell the story they want. And instead, you break up, like, great Alan Davis runs for fill-in artists. Or we had to suffer through a few, fill-ins that didn't add anything or weren't even that good. And so they were subtractive instead of additive, and it's like, yeah, like it's nicer nowadays. Maybe it was the Grant Morrison run of X-Men about how their run on X-Men was just rushed. And it's like, come on, the number one book that was going to last for all time, and the artwork's all over the place with it. And that one poor artist who had to just keep doing shoddy work, and he's just like, I'm doing 5 other comics. Like, they're all not going to look great. Anyways, but it's just like, yeah, like, I'd rather a book get delayed, and then, because it's like podcasts, like, I'm always surprised when the next one comes out, but I'm never like, oh man, it's been 3 weeks, where's my podcast? Like, yeah. Like, they come out when they come out. So what now? Well, Kitty Pryde's coming with me to Guardians of the Galaxy, Jews in Space, because he's also bringing Ben Grimm with him. And there are even rumors Goldball's finding his way into Spider-Man. What? No way. Spoilers. So I guess I'll never be fully done with the X-Men. I do know some of the plans for these new X-books going forward, and they sound amazing. Jeff Lemire and the gang are coming out swinging, and with my darlings Mark Badgley and Huberto Ramos, the legacy of Gorgeous will continue. Thank you, Bendis. Portland, Oregon, 2015. There's concept art by Stuart Immelman for the X-Men, the all-new team, which really high. Oh, yeah, so Angel's in red. Hank is in orange, and I guess Laura's brown. We get the Bizarre Adventures 27, which isn't referenced anywhere in here. That is the comic. And with that, Uncanny X-Men 600 ends, and then there will be a third Uncanny X-Men number 1. But that is the issue. So thank you so much for joining me. You can follow the blog at shadowandflameofmagic.com. You can follow me on Twitter and YouTube at Jackal SIII. You can follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at SNFWM. And I'll figure out what we're doing next week. But we'll see you then. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And if you give a like and subscribe wherever you find your podcasts, I would really appreciate it. All right, everyone. Bye.